Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Watchdives WD16760, which is kind of a GMT Master homage. But first, let's do a wrist check. Today, since we're talking about GMTs, I am wearing the Seiko SFK001 Sumo Solar Quartz GMT. This thing is phenomenal, and I'll be doing a video on that soon. So, first of all, comes in this nice little zipper, um, similar to like a sunglass case or something, kind of this faux carbon fiber look with their logo kind of embossed on the top. When you open this up, so it did come severely wrapped in plastic, and you got to pull all that off, and it's a mess. And so I did that already, and it comes on this little foam thing which protects the back of the case and the inside of the bracelet from rubbing on itself. And then comes with some, looks like some literature and a card, whatever. This is super handy. So it comes with this little micro screwdriver. These are super nice. I've got several of them now because some watches and bracelets come with them, but that's really great to change the links. So let's set that off to the side. Let's take a look at it first. So here is the watch itself. So obviously it is a GMT Master homage, but this one is a phenomenal one from all the ones I've seen, which is not a whole lot, but at this price point, it's crazy. So first, let's talk about the price. This is $210, I believe, on their website, somewhere in there. It was something like $220 shipped, give or take. And so that's what you can expect to pay, somewhere in that $2 to $225. They're on AliExpress as well, and they come in several different color bezels and several different color GMT hands. So this one's the all black bezel, black dial. I've only seen them with a black dial, and it's got a green GMT hand. So let's talk about some specs real quick. It is going to be 40 millimeters wide at the bezel. The bezel does stick out just ever so slightly, which I actually really like on this one. Lug to lug is going to be 48 millimeters. Thickness is going to be 12.5 millimeters. This is the V2. And so, let me wipe this down here. So, turn that bezel back. According to their website, they brought the thickness down. So 12.5 millimeters versus the V1, which is almost 13. And let's see here, lug width is going to be 20 millimeters, sapphire glass, NH34 movement, and 300-meter water resistance, which is pretty phenomenal. I don't know how accurate that is, but I don't know who's really going to find out. The case back, which I love, is it's sterile, which is great compared to some of the other homages where the case backs are horrific, which is fine. Nobody ever sees it, but I do like that sterile case back. Now, the bezel is a bi-directional bezel. It's got 24 clicks, so it stops on the hour for the GMT scale. And let's see if you can hear this. It's got a nice affirmative click without being too hard to turn or too soft. You know, it feels crisp without being like too aggressive. So I do really like that. This case is finished absolutely beautifully for a 200 and something dollar watch. So tops of the lugs are brushed. Side of the case is polished quite nicely on both sides. Crown guards look fantastic. The crown is signed and looks nice. It's not too gaudy. That logo is pretty mellow. It's not over the top. It's pretty simple and understated, which I like. Now, if you can see the finishing on the bezel, The bezel looks great. It looks and feels great. It's got plenty of traction. It looks very, very nice for for really, again, how much you're paying for this watch. Bracelet as well looks and feels great. So 20 millimeters down to 18, I believe, or maybe, oh no, I think that was 20 down to 16. So it's got this, the twin pusher clasp, and it is a milled clasp, so that's pretty nice. I do wish, I like this type of clasp where it's got this fold over. Yeah, this one's really stiff, but I do like this fold over type clasp. It's not necessary, but that's just my own personal preference. The clasp is signed, and it's signed nicely. Again, that's a very simple, understated logo. Doesn't look too ridiculous. And the dial looks pretty great. It's just a plain black dial, nothing crazy. It's kind of got a, it's hard to tell in these lights, but it's kind of got just a glossiness to it. Nothing crazy. The hands look nice and polished. Sorry, I'm trying to keep the light out of the reflection of the crystal. I don't think this has got a ton of anti-reflective on it, as you can see, which is whatever, you know, that's kind of to be expected. I'm going to take mine off. And we'll put this one on. All right, so here's the watch on my wrist. I've got a rather large wrist. I'm a big fellow. My wrist is about 8 inches, and so fits me perfect. This is this is how the bracelet came. So this is the full links and everything. I've got some room in there, but I would probably take out one link. But if you've got a real big wrist, it might not be big enough for you. That's not a whole lot of extra room. But again, I've got pretty big wrists from all the watches I've tried on. Again, this my Seiko. That's all the full links, and I do have it on the smallest micro adjust, but it fits me great that way. So I almost never end up having to take links out. So anyways, I'm rambling on. All in all, this watch is phenomenal for the price point. I really do like it. The case is finished great. One of the downsides, these corners are a little on the sharp side. You can't feel it wearing the watch. It's fine, but it sits on your wrist. But these little corners definitely feel a little sharp. This edge right here is also somewhat sharp. I don't think it'll bother you when you're wearing it. And it's kind of a nice feature because it just tells you that that case is finished very well. But maybe, you know, I'm used to Seiko divers that have big old chamfers, and there's like very few sharp edges on any of those. So that's kind of what I'm used to. NH34 movement, which is an absolute workhorse. These things are great and really hard to beat for the money. Now let's compare it to another NH34 GMT watch that's very similar, but a little bit different. So my Seiko SSK001, I believe. Both are going to be very similar in appearance and function. Now, the Seiko itself, this one, it has been modified. So this is an aftermarket bracelet and an aftermarket bezel and an aftermarket crystal. But these go for 350-ish, brand new, somewhere in there. It's 42 millimeters, so it's a little bit bigger. But same movement, you know, for all intents and purposes, very similar watch, just a slightly different style, but kind of in the same vein, right? Dive watch, classic look, black dial, color GMT hand, all that kind of stuff. So does this compare to the Seiko? I think absolutely. In this price point, I mean, you're looking at $100 to $150 or more less for the Watchdives versus the Seiko. And the Seiko's got a push-pull crown, right? So no screw-down crown, which is kind of a bummer. That's a downside to these Seiko 5s. Everybody kind of hates that, and that's understandable. I do love this watch, and it's a great watch, but 100 meters water resistant versus 300 meters for considerably less money. This one comes with a sapphire crystal. This one comes with Hardlex, and I had to swap it out to sapphire. I also deleted the Cyclops because I hate those, but anyways, it looks fine on this kind of homage Rolex style watch. But again, very similar watches, similar functions, similar forms, and this competes honestly with the Seiko GMTs. Now, it is going to be different, right? It's not a one-to-one, but if you are looking for kind of that Rolex GMT Master type watch, I think that this Watchdives is honestly going to be your best bet. It does have, let's see there, it's got screw links, which is why it comes with that little screwdriver, which is super handy. So you've got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws on each side, I believe. And that'll go down quite a bit. That's a fair amount of adjustment there. All right, so let's talk about some Lume. I've got my Super Mongo black light that I originally bought to find scorpions, but it works perfect for shining up your Lume at night if you want to see it glow the best it'll ever glow. So let's hit it with the black light. I'm going to turn this lamp off so they're all shined up, and here we go. So this is basically total darkness. We've got the Sumo on the left, the SSK 001 in the middle, and the Watchdives on the right here. You can see it is a loomed bezel, so you can see exactly what you're doing. Super easy. You can see the lume on that GMT hand. It's pretty small, but you can see it there. The hands look great. It's a nice blue lume, just like the kind of the Rolex and the Swiss, what is it, C3 Super Luminova. It looks fantastic. It's nice and bright. So there it is next to the factory Seiko SSK, and they've got pretty good lume. It's not the best, but this one also has a loomed bezel insert from Islander watches or Long Island watches. I broke my original one when I was swapping the crystal, so I had to change it out. But there they are when they're fresh. I mean, that's pretty close. They're different colors, but it's a pretty close tie. I think that the bezel on the Watchdives is actually better, but that's an aftermarket thing. So on this one, anyways, so irrelevant. Now the Seiko does have bigger, broader hands with the lume on there, but you can still see that's not great. The hands are overlapped. Let's see if I can change that time. There we go. Let's hit it again. That's kind of cool. Looks like a spaceship over there. But those hands are still nice and clear. Rolex style hands. I do love these Seiko style hands though. The Turtle and the SKX style hands, those are some of my favorite. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think they're almost exactly the same, to be perfectly honest. In person with the naked eye, you know, the Seiko might be a little bit brighter, but it's mostly just because of the color, I think. Let's compare these two. Yeah, I think that the Watchdives might win this one versus the Sumo, which is a much more expensive watch. This one, the MSRP on these is like $700 or $800, something like that. I paid $500, but that's I think quite a difference, actually. All right, guys, thanks for coming along and listening to me ramble on about these watches for far too long, I'm sure. All in all, final thoughts. This is a fantastic watch. If you're looking for kind of that Submariner GMT Master type homage watch, I think that you're not going to find one better than this in the price point for sure. 220 bucks, give or take, and this thing has got all the available features. So sapphire crystal again, NH34, Japanese movement, ceramic bezel insert, 300 meters water resistance, a phenomenal case. Fit and finish is great. Awesome bracelet. Again, the sterile case back, which I really like, especially if you're going to, if you want to engrave it or something like that. But anyways, it just looks nice and it's plain and it's simple. My only real complaint with this watch is the clasp. And again, that's just my personal preference. I'm sure a lot of you guys would say this clasp is what you would prefer on this watch. So, it's got some micro adjusts. It's got plenty actually, but I would just like a little fold over. Anyways, so hopefully you guys found this video interesting and informative. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to, go ahead and subscribe. That would be awesome. We're trying to do a bunch more watch videos soon, including one on this Solar Quartz Sumo GMT. And don't tell my wife, but I have another Sumo on the way that we're going to do a video on. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Enjoy, and we'll see you next time.